Okay, 6:30. Time to go. Something we need to know about. We're gonna get started here. This week's code of conduct: respect the property of others. So think of that about that. Remember, don't do anything that you wouldn't do to your own property to somebody else's, for one thing. Also, it's kind of a fundamental right? Own your property and protect your property. Someone left this here, I'd say. I don't know who did. Oh, it says 6/5/15. Carhartt shorts and T-shirts are in. Summer is here. Please post for Friday morning meeting. Thank you, Agway. Pete at Agway, I guess. And he gives a really good discount to ECI people. So you go in and you say you're an ECI employee, and you can't beat the price on Carhartt clothes. What's that?
Propane barbecue tank?
Yep.
And if your name isn't on the list, please let somebody know so we can put your name on that list if you have a hard time that way.
Yep, they're very generous on their discounts. So we're going to talk about lightning awareness here in a few moments. Get some corporate announcements. Got part-timers who have come back. You got Tom Pigeon, Glade Taylor, and Marcus Wilkinson. Any of you guys here? Welcome back. Oh, we got one. Marcus, welcome.
Tommy's part-time.
Is that?
Tommy's part-time.
Well, he's, yeah.
Somehow. He's here all the time.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Amy Hurlbert of Summit Wealth, that's the administrator for our 401k pension plan. She'll be here for consultation to anyone who needs or wants to talk to her, or if you're getting just set up in our 401k pension program, it's a good idea to talk to her to find out what the program is about, what the investment options are. And she'll be here the 19th, so sign up in the office. I assume there's a sign-up sheet down there, and if you're not in the office, just give the office a ring and ask Sarah to put your name in there on the 19th. I expect it's a Friday, correct?
Right.
Typically is when they come. And then just old reminders here. We're still seeking some CDL drivers, on-job training trainee, railroad workers, operator, labor is pretty much everything. And we turned 50 years old. So it's like on your birthday you don't feel old, but the day after you start to feel old, right? And please secure all the job sites in the summertime particularly well, because there's a lot more vandalism and mischievous people out there. Technical tips. We're still on this. I think we're up to, number 10, to stabilize soil at final grade. So basically the idea is, stabilizing soil with seed and mulch in the final restoration surface is like a good way to establish the erosion controls. And if it's a final setup, just make it final with new grass, final grades as soon as possible. Once you have that area cleaned up and buttoned up, it becomes a non-issue for the erosion control. So within 48 hours of final grading, should be seeding and mulching the exposed surface. And nothing that we haven't really gone over here, that it's just good practice, makes your job site look a lot sharper. Certainly, if that was torn up mud and everything, it would look pretty poor. But once you put that down, it's like carpeting your job site. So this week we're talking about the Green Mountain Power Waterbury substation in Duxbury. We're contracted with GMP to construct the below ground portion of this project for a new substation just off Route 100 in Duxbury. The site is a former farm near Crossett Brook Middle School. So as you're heading out 100 out of Waterbury, there's that school right there just as you pass over the river. And this is just before that that's the Crossett Brook School. I believe in this picture, the Crossett Brook is passing around the backside of the site. So the new substation is a greenfield site, or a former farm site anyway, and provides a tap into the 34.5 kV transmission grid for the local system. And they have a transformer and switchgear, so it's kind of a typical type of project for a GMP or Velco for substations where we have earthwork, concrete foundations, grounding, conduit trays, oil containment systems, and the typical fencing and so on. So this was just a few short weeks ago, Aaron. And since then, they've been planting concrete piers. They just grow up like everywhere. Good fertilizer we're using, I guess. And this looks like we're doing some piers maybe for fence posts?
No, that's for cabinets. For the
Oh, good. Cabinets. Okay. And then there's some backfilling going on here. And just a note here, there's been rumors that there's fish in that brook, but don't believe it. Don't bother. It's not true. I've known Classic Brook longer than I've known this job site. You just have to sneak up on those fish.
We didn't catch any the other day.
No? Good.
We didn't catch any the
Good.
other day.
I wouldn't have expected you to. Told you, there's no fish in there. You've got the right message. So, as a reminder, this is a live broadcast, and the login information is posted at the top, but also reminded here on, if you haven't done it yet, it shows you how to sign in. It's simple, extremely simple. Back to here, the access number. Each time it'll ask you for an access number. It's right at the top of the email. So it's pretty simple. Okay, lightning hazards. Get you the slider over here.
So we were nice enough to get a little PowerPoint presentations from Balco, a good client of ours, and they're doing this whole REAMP safety awareness on lightning. We haven't really ever talked about it. I kind of look back in the last 4 or 5 years, and we haven't really talked about lightning. So I thought it'd be just a good awareness level of lightning. We're in that time of year that lightning is very much could be a daily occurrence, all depending on the weather pattern. So each year, about 80 deaths, 300 injuries in the United States caused by lightning. That's not just construction workers, that's throughout the United States. So it's also good information when you're not here at ECI to share with your family and friends. About 10% of people that are struck are actually killed and 90% survive, but nearly 25% of survivors suffer long-term psychological trauma. 92% of lightning injuries and deaths occur between May and September. That's kind of where we are now. 45% of deaths and 80% of injuries occur months between really 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Again, that's kind of the time frame where we start seeing a lot of these lightning strikes. Rubber-soled shoes and rubber tires provide no protection from lightning. That was an interesting little fact when I was reading the PowerPoint presentation that I wanted to kind of highlight. Lightning can strike more than 10 miles away from any rainfall. More than 50% of lightning deaths occur after the storm has passed. People think it's safe enough, so they go out and potentially could get
Back to that slide. That's interesting about the lightning can strike more than 10 miles away from any rainfall. Often I hear it if you're 10 miles away from the storm.
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting twist on that point.
Yep. How far it can
Yeah,
travel.
so it's not clear, but
Yeah.
it's different than I normally hear it.
Yep. So they have here just some statistics. They say Vermont's the fourth, death rate, but again, that's per million. If you go here and actually look, there's only 2 in the last almost 10 years. So again, it's not as high as you think. It's just we just don't have the amount of people. But you can kind of see where you see a lot of it is down here in the southern states. But again, we have 2 deaths in Vermont in the last 10 years due to lightning. So it's important just to have that awareness. So the best shelter from lightning is inside a large enclosed structure, such as your home or school. No place outside is safe during rainstorms. Once inside, stay away from any windows, doors, electric appliance, lightning, electric sockets, plumbing, and such toilets and showers. So again, it's just kind of seek shelter. And the point of this training that I kind of wanted to talk about mostly is, with the thunder, try to really quickly talk about the flash to bang method. Again, if you hear thunder and then the flash, after the flash, 5 seconds, it says within about a mile away. 10 seconds, 2 miles away. 15 seconds, 3 miles away. 20 seconds, 4 miles away. So on and so far until you get to about 40 seconds. They're saying that's about 8 miles away. You have lightning. And the reason for it is we're doing more and more crane work. We're doing more and more bigger, sheet piling and just out there. Sometimes we have big open excavations where we might need to try to button up. It's just really having an eye for the sky, and it's in our tailboard as well. We have extreme weather. That's just not for hot stress. That's also for lightning storms. So just try to think about that. There's a really good app called WeatherBug for everybody that has smartphones. For the foremans out there, please download this app called WeatherBug. There's actually this flash. Forget the name of it, but if you go under details, it'll say Spark. It's called Spark, and it'll let you know where the nearest lightning strikes are kind of per your location. So if the GPS is working on your phone, it'll let you know that there's a lightning strike 1,000 miles away. So it's a way to kind of track storms. I'm going to try to send out emails when we're within like 15, 20 miles of my location. I'm going to try to get out to the job sites further away, like Mike DeLand's in Connecticut. We have Rygate. Those projects further away, we got to self-perform their own safety. So hopefully they can download these apps, take a look, and also identify the watch, warning, and advisory because that will alert you on your phone. Again, a watch is just kind of is issued when there's a risk of hazardous weather. Warning is usually events that are occurring immediately or likely. And then advisory is issued when the hazardous weather event is occurring immediately or likely. Advisories are for less serious conditions. So really, once we start seeing this warning being used out there, if I say warning, okay, that's news. It's going to be probably 90 to 100%. It's going to likely happen close to your area. So I think that was kind of an important thing, and it's just really just raising the awareness and being able to just perform a little bit more safety-sensitive things to our project, incorporating lightning with the ticks and the heat stress and all that stuff. But last thing we want to do is see someone get struck by lightning. And again, it's safe to stay in your excavators and stuff like that, but it's a judgment call. So if it's one of those situations where it's really coming down, if you have any doubt that you feel it's unsafe, let's shut down and let's wait for the storm to pass. But if it's one of those things where it's going to miss us, we can stay working. But you'll see this. You'll see my emails. Again, download that app. It's a very good, easy tool to use to know when lightning is going to be in your area, and also heavy rainstorms as well. And use those tailboards for that extreme weather positions.
There's one comment I noticed that every website and like this discussion talks about it's safer to be in your home or a house or a shelter than your vehicle. I'll take my vehicle any day.
Yeah, you can move.
Yeah, I've been to the, they might call it the Tesla building or room in the Museum of Science in Boston. And they had the big anodes there with like 1 million volts or 10 million or something that zapped into the theater. And there's a guy in essentially a big bird cage, all steel with rod, I don't know how thick, but it'll zap the cage, and he'll be in the cage, and he'll put his hand right up to the metal. And he says, as long as you're in a metal container, like a vehicle or an excavator, even if it's sitting on metal tracks on the ground, it doesn't matter. He says you're safe.
It's going right around you.
It just goes right around the metal encapsulation there and right to ground. So it's a dramatic example.
Yeah. The electrical substations, those have grounding or lightning
arresters in here.
And it's almost one of the safest places to be.
Right. Yeah. So I'd rather be in my vehicle. Okay.
Let's have a safe day. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Rodney. Redfield Valley. Hey,